Hi guys and welcome to Harry Klein Global. My name is Kimswim and I'm a DJ based in Munich. So today we want to talk about female artists in the electronic scene and put a focus on the conflicts we might face in such a male-dominated industry. We have invited 4 international DJs and artists who have been in this business for several years now and have made a name for themselves. So we will be live with Jackie Queens from South Africa, Red Pig Flower from South Korea, Ksenia Kamikaza from Georgia, and Lauren Mia from California. Afterwards, we will have a musical live performance from the duo called Catenation. I hope you enjoy. So let's get to our first guest. Her name is Jackie Queens. She's from South Africa. And she's a house vocalist, producer, songwriter, and author. With projects like Girls and #Woman of House, she offers artists who are often invisible a platform. Here comes a short video of her performance.
Woke up this morning with a smile on my face. I woke up this morning with a smile on my face. I woke up this morning with a smile on my face. You put a smile on my face. You put a smile on my face. Good morning. Beaming like a star. 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 I woke up this morning with a smile on my face. You put a smile on my face. You.
Welcome back and let's get started with our first interview, Jackie Queens. Hi Jackie.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks.
Great,
Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you for you taking the time to talk to us. I know you're busy.
Yeah, it's a quite hectic time at the moment.
I
Lots
know,
happening
right?
all at the same time, but
I know.
I'm grateful to be here.
We are grateful too. Well, we don't have much time, so let's get to the first question. I would like to follow up on your
Sure.
introduction. Can you tell us a bit about your project Girls and #Woman of House? When and for what reason did you start these projects?
Yeah, sure. So I've been a house music vocalist for like almost 10 years now, and some of the work that I've been doing is really centered around working with women as artists, as DJs, working with producers as well. And Girls was a project that I initiated to bring together vocalists and producers to, just sort of create an environment where women are seen to be working together, because often, the assumption is that we're very competitive, we don't know how to work together. So that was part of what I wanted to do with that project. And with Women of House, I started it about maybe 5 years ago as something that I was doing on my Facebook profile, just amplifying the vocalists who I thought were not being seen in the industry. Often, people hear songs and they don't know who's the voice behind it. So Women of House started as that, like a project where I would just every week give people information about vocalists who I thought were interesting, and like put out some of their information about who they were, because I also personally heard a lot of songs and I didn't know who the vocalists were because they weren't credited. So that's how that project started, and then it just sort of developed into different things through live performances, and then also an EP which I did, which sort of flipped the script on the sort of vocalist as the feature artist, so the vocalist was the main artist. And so just like stuff like that, working together with women and building solidarity and community with women as well. So that's pretty much the focus of the work that I do outside of being a vocalist.
Okay, nice. Well, do you have a personal experience where you were confronted injustice at or during your work for like being a female artist? And that's why you kind of started all these projects, or how did you get the idea of all of that?
Yeah, so a lot of it came from my own personal experiences, where as a house music vocalist, you're relied upon to write the songs, to sing the songs, but you get very little recognition. So, I mean, it's become a lot better now, as more and more women are expressing, or at least it's becoming more visible, the visibility of women who are discontented about it. And people sort of know, that it's not good to create a song and get someone to write on it and not credit them. So I think that's pretty much where the work sort of started, but there are obviously different kinds of things that we confront as well. And for me personally, another one of those is just like receiving like the other side of the recognition that you need as an artist, which is monetary, right? So working with people and not receiving royalties or not getting like your paperwork in order, like people are just very slack when it comes to those types of things. So it's kind of like, as you say, an injustice that we have to confront pretty much every day. So yeah, for me personally, those are like some of the most obvious, or some of the most persistent things that I have to confront as an artist who's a woman.
Yeah. Well, you've been in this industry for quite a long time. How has the role of women in the music industry changed over the years?
I don't know if we can say that the roles have changed in the sense that, women have been there from the beginning doing a lot of what men are doing. It's just that they haven't had the visibility that men have had, and the opportunities that they've had, and the recognition that they've had. So I think the roles have pretty much, been sort of constant. But I guess the change is now in that you have more women doing a lot of the work that's not just behind the scenes, because often you'll have women as PR agents or as managers, or, just sort of working in the background. But there are a lot of women now, especially like in the DJing sphere, who are doing a lot of work in that area, and as producers as well. It's really great to see more women who are producing, and more women who are actually owning different entities within the industry, whether it's record labels, whether it's booking agencies. I guess also part of the change has been around women coming together as well. There's a lot of organizations, or at least groups of women, who are doing amazing stuff together. I mean, Female Pressure's been doing it for a very, very long time. More recently, we've had others like She Said So and Women in Control. But I guess people have just always been doing this, in small little pockets of change. And now we're just getting to see more and more of it, which is great.
Well, for those who don't know about Female Pressure, can you tell us something about it? Because I know you've been working with them for quite a time now, so maybe you can explain a bit what the network's standing for and what they do.
Sure. Well, I followed Female Pressure for a very long time before I actually joined the network. So it's really, in the sort of simple way, it's a network of female non-binary, transgender artists from across the world, and people who work within sort of visual arts, electronic music, and in different spaces as well, like being producers and promoters. So it was started by Electric Indigo, I think, in 1998, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I don't get the year wrong. But like I said, it's been going for a very, very long time, and I was quite fortunate that with the sort of quietness that came with COVID, I had an opportunity to actually start reaching out to more people who I had been watching from afar, and I was really blessed to be able to join the network. And then also with regards to the Harry Klein Festival, I'm one of the curators with DJ Acid Maria from the Female Pressure team, and we're curating the Friday nights profiling women and non-binary artists from all over the world, and that has just been a very exciting opportunity to embark on, and also build connections with people like yourself and with like Harry Klein as well. It's just, I think it has really collapsed its borders, in this time, and so I'm really grateful to just have been able to make my contribution to that as well through Female Pressure.
Okay, awesome. Well, what do you think is the reason this industry is still so male dominated, and do you think there's anything we could do about it?
Wow, that's a big question. I think there are a lot of people who are doing a lot about it. Mary Klein is a very good example who are doing something about it. And to see that it's been going for 10 years, it tells you that there may be times when you do not actually know what's happening or see people doing these things to challenge the industry, but they are there. And there are many allies along the way who we have to help us do this work. So I think, the music industry itself is a microcosm of society at large. So if we're thinking how we're going to change this, we must just know that it's going to go in tandem with how quickly society itself changes and develops. So I don't think that it's unattainable. I think it will take a long time, but I'm also very optimistic because we're seeing a lot of people being more proactive and coming together and continuing to fortify their relationships with each other to build stronger networks and connections, which I think is really, really promising and it's great. I mean, there's so much we could say about the industry, but for me personally, I'm looking towards that and looking to find more people who are doing all of this already, so that the work can be strengthened. So I think that would be my hope, at least. I think that's my hope, and I'm optimistic. I'm really being optimistic about it right now. There's so many amazing women taking charge, and it's wonderful to see.
Great. But how present are those topics in your country, like feminism and LGBTQ? How is it over there?
These topics are very dominant in our country and in the society. within the music industry, it's only beginning to, start to take hold. Um, but like in the sort of broader conversation, there are a lot of people who are talking about um, those issues. But I think we do have some way to go within the music industry because, it's a case of people still not feeling safe to be able to talk about these issues and to advocate for themselves in such a way that they don't feel like their careers are going to be at risk. So that's become quite evident, at least in the many years that I've been in the industry. But there are definitely some people, especially men, who are understanding why it's necessary to change perceptions about women and how they're perceived in the industry.
All right. And what do you think is the biggest advantage being a woman that a lot of people underestimate?
Gee whiz, I would say the biggest advantage, at least for me, is other women. Because there's just something about women, once we sort of get together and get behind each other, it's a snowball effect. And I know, like, on the other side of it, people talk about boys' clubs and this kind of things, but there's just something that's really, if you find yourself in the right space, that's really affirming and edifying about being a woman who connects with other women. And once we start supporting each other, it's almost as if you don't even need to know somebody. It's just like, oh, my friend is in your city. Can you help her out?
Right.
Like whether it's meeting somebody or building a connection or finding, somewhere to play or stuff like that. I've really found that to be the greatest asset, is just, having other women to connect with and to talk to. And it's so much, like, there's just, I don't know, I just feel personally that there just isn't a lot of all this fluff that goes with relationships. It's very organic, and it's just really coming from a good place. About competition, I mean, there is hardly, from what I've seen anyway, at least in my experience, the competition isn't there. We all just want to see each other win now. So it's like,
Right.
this is really so for me, I would say that's the biggest plus, because I'm more interested in building connections with women, because I know that they will be longer lasting and they will be much more enriching for me, as opposed to building connections with artists who aren't. And there's just all these other sort of things that go along with that. So that's what I think is the biggest plus.
Nice. Well, unfortunately, it seems like we reached our time limit, but I've got one last question for you.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So, what advice can you give to all the rising or already standing female artists in this industry?
People ask me this all the time, and the answer's changed over the years. And the answer that I'm going to go with this year is to define success for yourself. Particularly with women, there are just so many things that people want us to do. They have ideas of who we should be, how we should present ourselves, how we should navigate our careers, how we should look, how we should talk, and where we should be in a career, sort of bigger scheme of things. But what I've found that's really helpful for me has been to just decide, what is it that I think is the meaning of success? What does success look like for me? And then use that as my sort of navigation tool, because then once you know deep inside what it is that you want, you are able to say yes or no, or, I might try that. Or so it's good to have a good sense of grounding and values and principles that you can live by and help you to guide you on that path. And I think for me, that's been the biggest lesson that I've learned over the years, is because we could always do what other people want. But when we look into ourselves and see into our own hearts, that's the most important thing. What we see there is the most important thing.
Oh, thank you very much. I needed to hear that. So, well, thank you so much for talking to us and taking the time. I know you're busy. Well, stay
Thank you
healthy.
for having me.
Well, you're
Yes, you
welcome.
too. Please
Thank you, and I hope we
stay
see
safe.
and meet each other very soon.
I hope so too. I hope so too.
Thank you, Jackie. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Yeah, so that was Jackie Queens from South Africa. And our next guest will go live from South Korea. She goes by the name Red Pig Flower, and she's a Korean-Japanese DJ, label owner, producer, and visual artist based in Berlin and London. Today, she's one of the respected figures in Berlin's underground electronic scene. Here comes a short video of her performance. Our next guest is from South Korea. Her name is Red Pig Flower. Hi, Red. Can you see and hear me?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Yeah, I
How
can.
are
I can
you?
hear you. I can see you. Yeah.
Awesome. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm very good. How are you doing?
Me too. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us. It's pretty late in Korea, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it's about midnight, but this is my time. No worries, you know.
Okay, okay. So you're
Just
like a late
midnight,
sleeper.
Yeah, for sure. I am very nocturnal. Yeah, for
Okay.
sure.
Great, awesome. Well, let's get to the first question right ahead because we don't have much time. So I know that
Sure.
you're a part of Female Pressure, and can you tell me what's the reason you wanted to be a part of this network, and what kind of experience have you made through them?
Oh yeah, for the female pressure, first time I got introduced by Alex Monster. She's I can remember Serbian DJ, and she wanted to invite me for her party, and then she introduced me. Okay, you need to be, because I'm gonna make a female pressure party. You need to be a member of female pressure. And the first time I had no idea, so I'm like, what's that? And she's like, it's a female network. You have to get in. And then that's also the first time I actually get introduced by female pressure, but since I moved to Berlin, I met my flatmate who is VJ Mo, Aiko Okamoto. And then she was one of the, I wouldn't say head, but one of the organizer, one of the person who make things going on in female pressure. And then she introduced me a lot of ideas of female pressure. This is not a agency. This is not a promotion group, but it's more like network, the female kind of network together, and then exchange information together. And ever since I joined it, all the experience I had, because I joined since 2014 or 15, it's been a while. All the experience I had was just fantastic. I had a numerous female support, and then I got endless information. Our emails exchanges are crazy. Like sometimes people get lost. You can get lost by the female precious networking because everybody want to share some information which can be useful for each other, like whether booking or exhibition or recruitment, anything. Also, I met so many inspiring people and female colleagues. So it's just really, really nice to gather each other and exchange information. It can be different if somebody expects some really direct help like agency, but this is not. It's more about just information group, and then we just by that we're not gonna feel alone, and then we can have more information to grow about ourselves or something. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
Hope it was. Yeah.
Well, let's talk more about your personal work and experiences. How long have you been in this industry?
I think about now it's maybe 16 years already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. And I know that you lived
It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. And I know you lived in big cities like London and Berlin, where the electronic party scenes are huge. Can you tell us some advantages and disadvantages of the cities working as a female DJ?
As a female DJ particularly,
Yeah,
you mean? I mean, advantages are okay, a lot, because well, even though Europe is better, I grew up in Japan and Korea and also London and Berlin. Well, in Asian country, female wrestler is much less, maybe 1 versus 9 or something. And then Europe is slightly better, but still much less, 3 versus 7. So I feel like when female does it good, then it can be a little bit easier to get more attention than male. Okay, that's true. But also, I think, at least my personal experience, I encountered a lot of discrimination or kind of prejudices or something. And then it seems like sometimes the sharks are waiting for me to make me mistake. Any kind of mistake I would make, they are like, yeah, look at that. Like, she's a female, she doesn't know how to do it. So in the end, it kind of helped me out because I was like, okay, I'm going to be perfect for my craft and something. But it's been quite harsh, actually. Time ago, I mean, yeah.
Do you have a personal experience where you were confronted injustice? Like, can you tell us a short story?
Oh, there are so many. There are so many, so I don't know how to pick up it. Like, okay, so many times I heard this question, if my boyfriend make a track for me, which all my boyfriend were far more loser than me in the past anyway. Or, I mean, yeah, true. I mean, I cannot be. Or if some when I used to do lives that I need to connect a lot of gears, and some young male DJ came in, oh, do you know how to connect the cables and something? And I was like, I've done it for 20 years or something. Some DJ in front of me, he said yeah, isn't it all the female DJs sleep with organizer to get a gig? On my face. So
wow, okay.
I was like, oh, if you say this is on my face, maybe I cannot imagine how many things you say back on my face or something. So yeah, I mean, even though it's getting better and better, I think still so many people think that female DJs are incapable, or female DJs use their sexuality to get a gig or something. But I think it's not really true, or if any case is true for really, really particular part of the female DJs, that kind of idiots are exist even in males, female, regarding whatever genders or something. So yeah, Well, many stories. And I can talk for 5 hours. Actually, yeah.
Well, what do you think is the biggest advantage for being a woman that a lot of people underestimate?
Oh, well, as I said, I don't know. Being well, we can be prettier. um, sounds like joke, but anyway, I think DJ. I think in my opinion, we are the artists and also performers and party makers. So you need to entertain people. So if you can, I don't know, if you can show yourself in a little bit easier way, because so many I seen so many male DJ come with like a sweaty t-shirt and then like I'm a real man and something, and then or I don't like to DJ. I don't like DJ to be a party pooper, because we are the one who actually make a party going. So it's okay to be entertainer. And then when you are female and then a little bit rare in the scene, it can be the advantage, but also it can be seen as a disadvantage very easily. So it is very hard question. I think, to be honest, I always think it doesn't matter you are female or male. This is a job, and then this is the profession. So you need to be good. Whatever things you do, you need effort and then history, research, and experience. So it's nice that people maybe focusing on you a little bit more for at this moment, because female ratio is a little bit smaller than male ratio. But in the end, it doesn't matter. It is your job. Everybody needs to be serious. Everybody needs to show their work. That's it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And do male DJs treat you differently because you are a female DJ, or did you always get respect from them?
Well, actually, it's hard to say, because it has been changed really a lot. First, my experience changed because I started when I was like 19 years old, and now I'm 35 years old. So that time through, I became a better DJ. So it's normal that people treat me differently. But at the same time, the era itself has changed for sure, because it's almost like 16 years ago when I started, and then that time and now, it's quite night and days, still. So yes, it has changed. I used to get more underestimation or discrimination, and now I feel like most of the people respect me. But I don't think it's only because time has changed. It's also because I've been working hard for get my respect. So yeah, I think there's nothing like black or white. There's so many aspects for everything. So yeah, now it's getting better. Yeah.
All right.
Nobody can say this bullshit. Yeah.
But you told me
Nobody
that
can this bullshit. Yeah.
well, you told me
No,
that the
no.
scene has changed over the years. Is there anything you want to still change in the nightclub industry right now in this time?
About that, I think it doesn't matter. About this question, I think I can answer something that not really connect with gender, because nightclub industry is still struggling a lot with outside of prejudice that like a nightclub scene is evil. During this COVID period, like actually the people who dance or want to organize in nightlife seen as evil people, like or not serious people whatsoever. So I think nightclub and electronic music itself is very, very minor music compared to pop music or even country music or classical music. So I think it's really, really important to unite, and there's no sense that in this tiny scene, like a minimal techno scene, it's very, very tiny. In this tiny scene, we like hate each other. It just doesn't make sense at all. It's all about like unification, and then we need to make a scene bigger actually, so we can have better pie to share with. So, but sometimes I think people come from back in time, like 80s and 90s. They're talking about the past, and then or they are just indulging inside of drugs so much or something. And I think it needs to be changed a little bit. Like we all need to be a little bit more serious, and we all need to grow up the pie together or something like that. That's maybe I want to change in the scene. Actually, it's not really about the gender because the pie is so small. I think like males are angry at female. Oh, your girls like take out our gigs or something. I'm like, hey, come on, we are like tiny. We are tiny compared to you guys. The ratio is like really, really small still. Just think about make a scene bigger, grow up the scene, be serious together, and respect each other. And I think that's what I hope actually. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, sadly, seems like we reached our time limit, but I've got one last question. And the question would be, what advice can you give to all the rising or already standing female artists in this industry?
Oh, like rising and then like already standing people that maybe like better off than me. Why should I give the advice or something? Yeah. But I think, well, as I said, this is very small industry, but also this is a job. It's fun job, but this is the job. So we all need to be like serious and working hard and do our research and then support each other. I think this is just the basic thing, It can apply for any industry or any job, but especially in this small industry, unification is more important than any other thing. So I mean, just stay there and then do these things as long as possible. I think that's most important. The history we're gonna tell. We are just like a tiny dust of the history. The history we're gonna tell. For that, we need to stand here for like long time. Never give up. Never do like DJ for 2 years for hobby or something. Do it for like 45 years or something. Then we can say something about it. In my opinion, yeah,
Right.
that's it actually.
Well, great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for talking to us.
No, pleasure was mine. Thank
Stay
you.
healthy, and I hope to see and meet you very soon.
Yeah, I mean, I will come back within like 2-3 months. Is there something? Wait for me. Wait for me,
nice.
guys.
We will wait for
Okay,
you.
I got vaccinated. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a
Great.
nice evening. Bye-bye.
For you
Ren.
too. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Cheers. Yeah.
So, yeah, that was Red Pig Flower. And our next guest will be Ksenia Kamikaza from Georgia. She's a Tbilisi-based DJ, producer, founder of the Platz für Tanz label and the Under Festival in Riga. As a full-time DJ and promoter, she produces her own music and emphasizes that it is not about techno or electronica, but about her own search for the sound of the inner rave. Here comes a short video of her performance. next guest is Ksenia Kamikaza from Georgia. Hello, Ksenia.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, very good.
Okay, great. How are you doing?
I'm fine. It's good outside, so enjoying summer.
Okay, great. Well, we don't have much time, so I just get right to the first question. Can you just tell me a bit about you and your work? How long have you been in this electronic scene and what you do?
Yeah, I started with a radio show about relaxed electronica 18 years ago. So then it became more DJing, and then organizing parties. So now I'm deeply in all this stuff.
Okay, awesome. Well, it's known that Caucasian countries are more conservative compared to Middle and Western Europe. Is it true, or is it just an old prejudice? And how does it reflect on you being a female DJ?
I originally am from Latvia, so I just moved to Georgia.
Okay.
And sure, I can see the difference, like huge difference. It's getting better. I'm living here for 4 years, and now it's much better than it was like 7 years ago when I came first time. And woman is getting more respected, and also more female artists are on the scene. But still, it's not only in music. It's just a big influence of Asian culture, which is more like men are the main in the family everywhere, and woman is more meant to be in a house. We can say like this. So, but it's changing a lot, especially with youngsters. They're really talking about it a lot, like talking about this problem, like woman and man should be equal, have equal rights, and respected the same way on the scene or whatever in every profession. So it's getting much better. Yeah, but it's a long way, but they will do this, definitely. I feel it.
Okay, so in general, the topic feminism is getting better, or?
Yeah, it's much better, and maybe here it's not so officially as feminism, but more about just having the same rights. Like locals, they don't really like all these isms. Yes, they respect tradition a lot. So this feminism is maybe a bit too loud for Caucasian nations, because it's very strong movement in all over the world, and it's really breaking local traditions, but not using loud words. They are moving this topic forward.
All right. And you are a label owner and you organize festivals. Were there any difficulties you faced because of your gender?
I was quite lucky all my life. I had a lot of male friends, DJs, musicians, who were helping me with all this. But of course, sometimes you feel kind of jealousy, maybe, then the girl is successful and men are not so successful. But originally, as I said, I'm from Latvia, and in Latvia, women are very strong and women are respected. It's kind of in the culture. So we don't have such a big feminism problems. Of course, like there are more conservative people, but comparing to the country I live in now, we don't have such problems. Here, it's of course you feel more like you should be together with some guys, to be in some community. Then it will be much easier for you to have a career. So yes, of course, but it's, as I said, it's getting better.
Okay,
and I'm happy, really happy with this.
Great. And how do people usually react when you tell them you are a DJ?
Wow.
Wow. So it's always positive.
Yeah, really. Yes. So like, oh, it's so nice. It's cool. Like, nice profession.
Okay,
We envy you. You play music. You dance. Yeah, it's always positive. Positive. Yeah.
okay, all right. And do male
Yeah.
DJs treat you differently because you're female, or?
Um, I think yes, of course. But in my case, it wasn't negative.
Okay.
As I said, I was lucky with this, and but of course, you feel sometimes that maybe they're trying to help you more than if I would be a boy. But like I use it, of course, because I appreciate helping, right? But me personally, I never met people who said, you're a girl, you cannot play or whatever. But of course, I've heard this attitude about other girls, like, here she cannot play, she because she's a girl. I said, like,
Oh, okay.
it's only because she has different attitude to the music. She presents music differently, and because still DJing is more male profession, and we sometimes, like, we're used to special style guys are playing. Yeah, girls are different. They look different. They move different. They're smiling more. Like, and then people maybe are not expecting this. These reactions from the DJ, not a girl. If I will be just a girl, it's nice, but like DJ should be different. We need a bit more time to make people just used to that girls are different on the stage. When they're on the stage, they're different from boys.
Right. Well, what do you think is like the biggest advantage for being a woman?
Oh. I don't know. I really don't separate it because if you're a musician, you should be professional. That's the main thing. You should be on time. You shouldn't say, I have kids, whatever. So my husband didn't let me go to the party, so I'm late, sorry. You should be professional. You should be there. You should play quality of music with good level of techniques and everything. You shouldn't expect also that I'm a girl, they will understand or whatever. I met girls like this also, like, I'm a girl, so boys will be just happy to see me because I'm cute. And so this is also wrong. So you shouldn't present yourself as a woman or man. You should present yourself as professional. When it will come together, like professionalism, then we won't see the sex behind it. Now it's not, of course, not all DJs has it, but some DJs still using it. So yeah, then we get this this attitude from the public, like, there was a girl, she was just smiling but playing something non-understandable, not qualitative. She was like mismatching, and then it's bad for the girls who are trying to be more professional. So we're not trying to be male DJs. Yeah, we're just like we are, and that's it. So we shouldn't use our feminism for our success. I think so. At least.
Yeah, that's true. And well, you told us that you've been in this industry for a while now. How do you think has the role of women changed in the years?
Sorry.
Well,
changing what?
Well, how do you think did the role of women in the music industry change for the years? Because you've been in this business for several years now.
I think that little by little, people just getting used that there's a musician. It's not a girl, it's not a boy. It's nice music, we love it. Because, of course, like when it was like 10 girls on this scene and all like thousands of boys, it was something special when it, like 20 years ago. Now we have a lot of girls, and sometimes like girls are bigger names than boys. And people also love it because, still like woman can make all this, especially hard styles, techno, electro, it can be more maybe playful or something like this, because we still have this our feminine beginning and everything, right? So people like it. I think like more and more people like it, that you can feel not only like bombing music, but you can feel more art in it. Of course, there are also men who are more like creative, but still, and it's a big challenge, for a man, for a woman to make like music different from each other. So it's competition, and it's good for the quality of music and different genres. And definitely, I see it's only good sides of this.
Okay. So my next question would be, is there anything you want to change in the music industry?
Like you mean whole music
Yes.
industry? I would just, I don't know how, but I would put a bit more justice, maybe, because it's super hard to not to be maybe a woman or man, but if you're coming from a small country and you're not living in Berlin or like UK or America. But for example, like Baltic states, as I'm coming from the like Caucasian states, it's quite hard just to be heard. Of course, like you should be really lucky to get to some labels. So I think we need some platforms, maybe. I don't know, like I don't have the plan yet, but maybe I will have it, hopefully, just to make mm, creative people, musicians, just to put their music somewhere, not in this huge Spotify thing where you are just getting lost. We should really think about the moment that users, like the people who are listening to music, they are not such a big diggers as DJs are. They are more getting like they like the DJ, they're following the DJ. They've heard something, they're following. So we need some platform which will help people to be heard. So it's super hard to be found on SoundCloud or whatever if you don't have all these promotional things. But if you're coming from small country and poor family, you don't have money for all these promotional things.
Right.
So we really need to somehow to change it. There's so many talented youngsters, and they're just some of them are getting disappointed and leave the industry just because they cannot go through all this. You should know right people. Yeah, of course it's happening like this, but now we are living in the world of internet. So we all have all these possibilities. So if there would be some nice platform for beginners, and beginners shouldn't be shouldn't be like young. I mean, sometimes people work like physics for all their life, and at 40 they just decide that now they want to live with music, and they really do great music. But like everybody, he's not young. So we don't have only this female or male problems. We have also age problems. We have a lot of problems on the stage. So that's the moment I would like to change, to improve, to help people to be heard.
Awesome. Yeah. And sadly, we are at our last question. And that would be, what advice can you give to all the rising or already standing female artists in this industry?
Don't give up. There's like in any profession, in any moments of our life, we can meet people whose attitude is bad. Not because it's always and everywhere like this. Maybe like today someone said like, you are a girl and you won't be successful on the stage, but tomorrow you will meet some nice people who will help you a lot. and you will become next star. So never give up. Yeah, move on. If you love it, then it will come back with all love and appreciation of the people. Just go on.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for talking to us.
I was happy to do this.
Stay healthy, and I hope to see you and meet you very soon again.
Yeah, hopefully.
Thank you, Ksenia. Bye.
Bye.
So, sadly, we are coming to our last and final guest. She will go live from California. Her name is Lauren Mia. She's a Los Angeles-based pianist, composer, DJ, songwriter, singer, and producer who has made a name for herself in the genre of progressive house and melodic techno. Here comes a short video of her performance. So now we're live with Lauren Mia from California. Hi, Lauren.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm very good. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you for taking the time and talking to us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Like I told you, I'm so grateful to be a part of this and to be able to contribute to such a beautiful project. I'm so grateful for what you all are doing and shining light on women in the industry and the LGBTQ plus, and yeah, just sharing our stories and shining light on us. So thank you.
Thank you. So, well, let's talk about your personal work and experiences. How long have you been in this business and how did it start?
So I started, my musical passion started at a very young age. I started playing piano when I was very young, participated in choir, musicals, and then around college, I actually was interning for record labels here in Los Angeles, more on the business side of the music industry. And I quickly realized that I felt unfulfilled just doing the business side of music while, you know, having creative skill. It felt unfulfilling. So eventually, after one of my Burning Man experiences, I had a huge epiphany, super cliche, but I did. And I quit my job and I went back to school for 3 years for music production and audio engineering. And then I just went for it with no expectations for it to turn into something really professional, but it did. It sort of just aligned itself for me, and I became very committed to making a lifetime career out of this.
Very nice. So you've been in this business since a young age, right?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to working professionally and earning a living, I started around 19 years old.
Oh, okay. And did
now
you
I'm
find
about 27.
Oh, okay. And did you find it difficult to assert yourself as a young woman in this industry?
Yes, definitely. It was difficult, but I think it's something that takes time, right? Whether you're female or a male, I do believe regardless, it's difficult to enter this industry. It takes a lot of years of experience establishing respect from others who have worked very hard to earn their place in the industry. But a woman, of course, women have a bit of a disadvantage because it hasn't been the norm for so long, right? For women to be technical and to even have jobs, because if you look at generations before, a lot of women were really just children, and I'm talking like for generations, right? So it's been very recent for women to actually be working. I think the last generations is really when we've seen it happen. And so we're still in the transitional period, I feel, of making that change in the industry. So it was hard for me, for sure. But I think now I've gained a lot of respect from my male colleagues. I've gotten a lot of support from the masculine in the industry, which has been nice, but it took time. Yeah.
Well, do you have a personal experience you can tell us about where you were confronted injustice at or during your work?
Yes. I think that men, not all men, but some men who, it's usually in live performances, right? So sometimes I've heard this happen to several of my friends who are also fellow DJs. We did a female panel on Clubhouse, and we were talking about how we all had this experience where sometimes when we're in the middle of a set, tech or promoter will just come up and adjust the volume on the mixer. Like while you're playing, which is so bizarre, right? Because I think we're pretty equipped to recognize the volume levels, A, and B, we don't want it to redline and to peak. So they're just like adjusting the volume, and all of a sudden you see it hitting the red. Why did you even do that? And also, like, it's insulting in a sense, because you're in the middle of a performance. Why would you just go ahead and touch it from the opposite side of the booth? You don't see that happening to men, right? Like, they would never dare. So that's like a dick move, if you know what I mean. But this has happened quite commonly, whether it's the volume or touching anything for that matter in the middle of a set. So that's pretty much the most. It happened to me just recently in January. So very, it's not cool.
No, it's not. And how do like male DJs treat you?
When it comes to my colleagues, the other, my fellow DJ friends, and even just colleagues that I'm not familiar with, again, I have a lot of respect. I feel respected and treated well and equally in that regard. So I'm very grateful for that. I've had good experiences so far with the people that I, play shows with or work with. So that's nice.
All right. And what do you think is like the biggest advantage of being a woman that a lot of people underestimate?
Well, this is a touchy subject, but this is my personal feelings. Women create life, right? Like the true difference between the man and the woman is women can create another human, which is actually a gift, right? Like we're literally able to create life force. So creation-wise, we carry a sacred energy that men don't. That's just the truth. As much as we're both creative and we're all creative beings full of love, and we're all sacred beings, we have a gift and an ability that they don't. So with that, it can translate through maybe not creating another human, but creating other life for others or for yourself, manifestation, and just like creating a healing experience. It's sacred sexuality, sacred energetic. The Tantra teachings are all about, breath work and just this sacred creative energy that you can cultivate within you. So I feel like women have that and can utilize that. And it's not about, when I don't talk about sexuality in a way where it's being fied or dressing provocatively, it's rather like cultivating the energy force of creating, right? So I think that's an advantage, right?
Great.
So I'm grateful for that.
Thank you so much for this answer. It was great.
Thank you.
Well, and what do you think is the biggest issue that women face in this industry still?
So I think we have a difficulty being taken seriously when people recognize that we are a woman, because it's easy to be objectified. It is. I mean, men have a nature of being attracted to a woman. Now that's a great thing. I mean, I love it. I love the attraction between woman to woman. I love the attraction between men to women. But when it comes to the professional workspace, you don't want that type of attention, right? You want the attention to be on the music. So it's a bit difficult because it's so embedded and translated through like generational conditioning, and can see women as, you know, something that they would want to pursue versus an equal in the industry. So that's something that I see is still happening, you know. But I feel like we're on the right path. I see the change happening. I see the shift that a lot of men and masculine energy in the industry are making a change for the better.
Yeah.
But like anything, when you're making a change, it takes time.
Right, right. And what do you think is still the reason that the industry is still male dominated?
Well, I think it's a combination of things. I think, like I said, it does take time. If I even look at my mother, who's now in her 60s, I remember that most of her friends who were stay-at-home moms versus some women who were working moms, they would look down on the moms who were working, right? Like, oh, you're not with your child. You're not. So again, this is something that people fail to recognize. It's transition now. Like our generation, all the women love pursuing their dreams, love pursuing a career, want to make an impact, and that's beautiful. I'm with the women on that. But I do think we have to recognize that it takes time. And also, there are men that we have to be aware of that are intimidated, right? Because for so long they had this power.
Right.
So not a lot of people are going to want to give that up, right? And that's just resistance. There's resistance to change. Change isn't easy, but it will happen. It takes time. There are a lot of men who like to see this, who like to see the change and support women, and so kudos to them. But yeah, that's why, you know.
Awesome. And how present is the topic, like feminism, in your country?
It's very, very, very present. In fact, even in college, my university, we were studying about it. You know, we have a massive, massive LGBTQ plus community. Specifically where I live in Los Angeles. We're very, very progressive, and you know, we're just and feminism, you know, is very present, but there is extremism on the feminist side that I don't entirely resonate with, because we're not here to shame the masculine. You know, we want to be equals, but I think sometimes, like anybody who's been oppressed, there's resentment. So sometimes that comes through where there's a bit of extremism, and I don't want to devalue or take away from the masculine. I just think we want to rise up to equal.
Right.
So yeah, but it's everywhere.
Awesome. Well, unfortunately, it seems like we reached our time limit, but I've got one last question for you. And that would be, what advice can you give to all the rising or already standing female artists in this industry?
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to be unapologetically yourself. Don't be afraid to gain the wrong attention. And assertive, why I say that is sometimes you're going to have to be feisty, you know, to protect yourself from energy. And there's a double standard, right? Men who are assertive are just stern. Women who are assertive are not nice, right? So I think don't be afraid of that. Do what you need to do. Focus on your dreams. Keep dreaming and be yourself.
Great. Thank you so much, Lauren. Thank you for joining
My
us
pleasure.
and telling us about your personal work and experiences. I hope to meet and see you soon.
Yes, I hope so. Would love to give you a hug in
Yes,
person.
we do a visual hug.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so
all. I'm
much.
very
Have a great
grateful.
day.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, we are slowly coming to an end of this Cultural Thursday, but lastly, we will have a musical live performance of the duo Catenation, who combines live performance, improvisation, visual and audio art. I'm saying goodbye to you, and thank you so much for watching and listening.